About 200 kilometres west of Sydney is the oldest inland settlement in Australia, the city of Bathurst. Home to the first gold rush in Australia, today it is home to one of the world's most famous motor racing tracks, Mount Panorama Circuit. Built in the 1930s, the first race held there was the 1938 Australian Grand Prix, won by Englishman Peter Whitehead with a fastest lap of 3 minutes and 23 seconds, completing the 40-lap race in just under 2 hours and 47 minutes. Since then it has hosted the Australian Grand Prix on 3 more occasions and is home to the Bathurst 1000 in supercar racing and the Bathurst 12-hour in the Intercontinental GT Challenge. Today it is home to the 8th round of the iRacing Grand Prix Tour. The drivers will need to complete 50 laps of this 6.213 kilometre track, consisting of 2 straights over 1 kilometre long, where DRS can be activated, with a slalom of fast, tight and twisty corners challenging the drivers on the mountain, all of which need to be survived just to finish the race, let alone think about winning it. For all motor racing enthusiasts, on non-race days the track is open as a public road, allowing people to drive both ways around the track for no charge. However, there is a strict speed limit of just 37 miles per hour, with regular police control to ensure no one is speeding. Talking about speed, the official race lap record currently stands at 1 minute and 59.291 seconds, set by Christopher Mize in his Audi R8 LMS GT3 car in 2018, but qualifying for today's race has already smashed that time. Despite the results from qualifying though, a number of drivers have not been able to make it to the grid to start the race, including our pole sitter Riaz, so McGeechee will lead the pack, with Hampton and Oliver right behind, hoping to pounce into turn 1. I hope you are ready for what promises to be an exciting, action-packed Grand Prix. I expect to see a few incidents along the way of these 50 laps. The drivers are on the grid, waiting for the lights to go out. And they're away, and it's a bad start from McGeechee. It's a great start from Hampton and from Oliver behind, and Hampton pounces, takes the lead into turn 1. Oliver P2 behind, McGeechee stays in P3. It looks like everyone's got through turn 1 in one piece as Hampton starts roaring up Mountain Straight, with Oliver chasing behind, McGeechee in P3 just dropping back a bit as they go into Griffin's Bend and getting towards the top of the hill now, into the first real braking point. This is an easy place to lock up the tyres, but everyone seems to have got through that corner in one piece. Now for the tight twisty section, the slalom, high speeds, and if you're brave it will be flat out through this section. It definitely will be once the tyres have warmed up a bit. Hampton and Oliver have raced away from McGeechee a bit. Oliver goes wide, but he survives despite that slight lock-up. Keeps it out of the wall. It gives Hampton a bit of breathing space as they now go down Conrad Straight, back towards the start-finish section. Oh, that was a thrilling start, a slow getaway from McGeechee, and Hampton absolutely pouncing to take the lead, and is now in a strong position with a nice little cushion to Oliver behind to head into the chase and down towards Murray's Corner, the lowest point on the track, to complete turn 1, complete lap 1. Hampton leads after lap 1, Oliver P2, McGeechee P3, and they've dropped the rest of the field for the time being. So we start to head back up the hill. There's plenty of cars just locking up slightly into turn 1 behind, but no one seems to be going off. Everyone's still going round, keeping the cars out of the wall for this marathon sprint contradiction of terms. Hampton locks up slightly into the cutting, but survives, and Oliver's starting to chase him down a bit as they head up the hill through the fast section to get up to the highest point of the track. It's a 174 metre elevation change as they start the descent through the dipper down towards Forest Elbow. Hampton locks up a bit but Oliver goes even wider, and Hampton gets away with that small lockup. You see the cars bottoming out as they roar down the straight, full of fuel. The bottom of the cars sparking away as they hit the ground into the chase on lap 2. And Hampton's gone deep, he's gone wide, he's off the track. He's managed to keep the car in one piece, but he does have a slowdown penalty. So Oliver's managed to get past. McGeechee alongside into Murray's corner. They give each other plenty of space. Who can get the better drive into turn 1? It looks like McGeechee's got the inside line, and Hampton loses 2 places in 2 corners. But he now has the DRS activated now that we are on lap 3. Can he close the gap back up to McGeechee? It doesn't look like it's going to be powerful enough, and he has to settle P3. It's a disappointing couple of corners for Hampton there after what looked to be such a promising start. On to lap 4, and we've already got back markers exiting the pits, and Hampton's under pressure again. He's not been able to keep up since that little mistake. There's a dummy dive to the inside, and there's contacts. They go round Griffin's Bend, and somehow they both cars managed to keep on the track. Is there any damage? It's hard to see. Hampton's lost 2 places in that moment. It's okay. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell for the driver because you can't see your wing. You can't tell if it's still in one. You desperately want to know that as you start flying through this fast section. You do not want to have a surprise loss of downforce. So maybe just taking it a bit easy as he tries to work out if the car's still in one piece, still able to go at full speed. But he's now down into P5, which is not where he wanted to be after such a lightning start. He's now under attack. The car behind has DRS. Hampton thinks about going defensive, but there's no point. The DRS just providing so much overspeed, and it's a comfortable overtake. And now got Hampton down into P6 as we reach the end of lap 4. So in just a few laps, gone from a great start and leading the race down into P6, and it's not over yet. There's a dive to the inside for turn 1, and now down into P7. But can Hampton fight back on this straight? He has DRS, so does the car in front. It doesn't look like Hampton's going to be able to catch up and make the move back. So once again in space of a lap, lost 4 places down into P7. And it's going to be a recovery job from there. Going through the cutting on lap 6, a small lockup, but the 2 cars in front look like they're going side by side as they start to go up the hill. That's not an easy place to be going side by side, and they've slowed down. There's cars everywhere. They're almost 3 wide, and Hampton on the grass, but manages to keep the car in a straight line, makes a move, gets another one of those places back. But that looked like it could be a hairy moment. Hitting the wheels on the grass at such high speed with the 2 slower cars in front. Again, small lock up as we go around the corner. There's a car off the track. Hampton doing his best to avoid the car, loses a position because the car that went off was actually a lap down. So we're now into P6. Lap 10, things have settled down a little bit now, and Hampton's just found a little bit of space in P6. Goes a bit wide there, but gets away with it. Kind of not really being challenged from the guy behind who's on softer tyres. But there's another car in the wall coming out of the cutting. That's up into P5. It's easy to get caught out on that corner, get on the throttle quick. this fast and twisty section is it's a fun part to drive. It's a real challenge because you take so much speed through these narrow walls. But oh, there's a car off. There's a car pulled off the side. Now what happened there? We didn't quite see that. Let's see if we get a replay of that moment. But it looks like Hampton's gained another position. Yes, here we are. So this is on board with the car slightly ahead and chasing down McGeechee. And just as we come round Forest's elbow, just goes in too deep, clobbers the wall. Car behind does a great job not to go into the back of him. But that is Hampton up another position. It's now into P3 with those retirements. That's going to be a tough job to fix that car. Coming to the end of lap 14 now of what's been a busy start to the race, and with a number of crashes. And oh, there's another crash. There's another crash. Who was that? That was the leader. That was the leader who'd been driving away and was putting on some good show of pace. He's just lost it in the final corner. Yeah, we're going to get to see it here. And it's comfortable going through the chase. As he heads down into Murray's corners, he just going deep. Yeah, tries to take too much speed into the corner, and you go straight to the tyre barrier. Hampton now up into P2. So we're now on to lap 23. We're approaching halfway here, and ahead of Hampton is a lapped car, and the leader just ahead of them. And Hampton is steadily closing the gap to the leader. It's not blindingly fast in closing the gap. It's a few tenths a lap, but he is definitely closing the gap. And starting to put the pressure. And there's a spin. The lapped car spun in front of Hampton as they entered into the cutting, and somehow Hampton's managed to keep out of that one. Could easily have been collected in that. It's a hairy moment. He might have lost a little bit of time to the leader, but he's at least kept the car in one piece, which is probably the main thing going through there. Here we have an onboard of what exactly Hampton saw. So the lap car in front just loses it going in, smoke everywhere, but fortunately it was far enough in front of Hampton that he was able to see what was going on, to avoid the car and to not lose too much time to the leader. So he now starts to continues even to chip away at that lead. So, yeah, coming round Murray's corner, start lap 24. You can see the leaders in our sights, chasing down round that one, small lock up. But there's a car off in the wall. That is the leader. That's another leader in the wall, and Hampton takes it up into P1. You can see what happened here. He just locked up into turn 1. Yeah, carried too much speed, locked up trying to save it, and once again straight into the wall. So it's a brutal racetrack, this one, and it's definitely an attritional race that we're going to be seeing. So at lap 28, Hampton has now a comfortable lead. Can't yet afford to rest and sit back. But he's not directly under pressure at the moment. We have to see how race strategies pan out, with some cars already made their pit stop. Hampton yet to do so. He locks up into the cutting. Oh, that's close. Close to the wall. I don't want to get much closer than that. At the end of lap 32, yes, Hampton makes his dive for the pit, so he's gone well over halfway on those sets of meters. Goes slightly off the track on pit entry, but keeps it out of the wall and into the pits. It's a very slow pit lane here, and especially for Hampton, whose garage is right at the end. It's a long trundle down. Let's see what tyres he's going to put on for the remaining 18 laps into his pit box, and he's on to soft tyres, so should be able to make those soft tyres last 18 laps. He comes out of the pits. He has a reasonably comfortable 40-second gap to P2, who pitted for hards very early on, and he's going a long distance on them, so it should be quite comfortable from here for Hampton. He just needs to keep the car in one piece. On to lap 40, and let's just go on board and listen to sort of a quick lap around Bathurst. There we go, flying lap around Bathurst, a 1:37.7, Hampton's fastest lap of the race. Not really pushing it, just keeping everything under control. P2 is catching by a few seconds a lap, but we're just making sure that we're managing that gap, managing the tyres, making it so that we're not going to come under pressure late in the race, but not taking too many risks. Coming to the end of lap 44 out of 50. This is P2. He is catching a couple of seconds a lap. Oh, he's spun! He has spun around Murray's corner. His front wing has come off and he's thrown it across the track in disgust. But he was catching Hampton, probably not quickly enough. Hampton did look like he had enough being comfortable, but I don't think without a front wing that he's going to be able to put any sort of challenge in the last few laps. Hampton sees the white flag for the last lap. He has a comfortable 50-second lead. There's absolutely no need to push on this lap. Just take it easy, keep it out of the barriers. You can see already Hampton's keeping it safe and conservative. As this race of attrition comes to its end, and there are only 3 cars still going on the track, and that includes P2, who we saw in the wall and losing his front wing. But Hampton's had an almost flawless race, and had done the important part of keeping the car on the track in one piece, no damage. He's just drove a calm race, not putting himself in too much danger, controlling the pace when he's needed to, making sure that he's got tyres throughout the stints. Comes down to the chase for the final time. Hits his braking point. Keeps the car on the track here. Much better than lap 2. And into the final corner, final braking point. Round Murray's corner and across the line to win the 8th round of the iRacing Grand Prix Tour at Bathurst. Hampton has won. It's been a great race from him. He's really kept his focus, kept his cool while others were losing theirs. And it's been a fantastic achievement. P3 has come across the line a lap down. We just wait to see P2 without his front wing. Make sure that he makes it round those last few corners. Being very gingerly, but it's been a fantastic drive from Hampton. Keeping focused despite a couple of off tracks, a couple of small mistakes. But on the whole, it's been a great race. Here comes P2. He does make it back in one piece. Well, one piece of him makes it back. He finishes a solid race. Finishes on the lead lap, which is not bad going for not having a front wing around this track. So this being Bathurst and Mount Panorama, there's only one thing you can do at the end of the race. Will Hampton go for it? Yeah, he's put his foot down for the long run down Conrad Straight, which can only mean one thing. He's going to line up to the right hand side of the track and attempt to jump over the barrier at the chase. Can the Mercedes car fly into the gravel? He's kept it straight, it's looking good, and oh no, the back end of the car just didn't lift, and well, he's not going to be needed to drive any more laps in that, which is just as well. What a race by Hampton. Congratulations on a fantastic win.